Right. Former CIA Station Chief Dan Hoffman's with me now. Iran playing for time. How long do they have left before Trump loses his patience and does something?
Well, I think we're clearly at an inflection point here where we have really three options. One, of course, would have been to accept Iran's unreasonable demands. The president made it clear that he's not going to do that. The second option would be to hold to where we are right now with a blockade. I'm not sure that's tenable in the long term because we are seeing a disruption to the global economy as a result of the practical closure of the Strait of Hormuz. The third option is to restart kinetic strikes. Israel, remember, was very, very successful with those decapitation strikes. And I'm sure that that and other options are on the table right now for the president. Based on my experience at CIA, I can't emphasize enough the importance of our intelligence collection, which will inform our decision-making.
Would those other options include taking Karg Island, seizing Iran's oil, and then opening the strait? That's surely the most attractive option, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly I think those options are on the table. They carry with them risk and also increased U.S. resources, military resources that we would have to bring to bear. And I'm sure that we would want to discuss these options with our Gulf state partners and Israel, of course. But I think every option is on the table, Stuart. Look, military kinetic strikes are designed, and ours have been incredibly successful tactically, but they're designed to create the opportunity for strategic policy success. And right now, Iran, as their current regime exists, is not interested in coming to the negotiating table in good faith. It's over to the Trump administration to induce them to do so.
The president's on his way to China. A strange question, but is it possible that he would order some kinetic military action whilst he's meeting with Xi Jinping in Beijing? Is that possible?
You know, with many other presidents, I might say no. With President Trump, sure, he might do that. Why not? I think Iran rejected our offer and rejected any opportunity to negotiate with us precisely because the president was headed to China. And the last thing that Iran wanted to do was to put some wind in the president's sails as he goes to meet the Chinese.
Okay. The Wall Street Journal says Trump holds the cards in these meetings with China. The New York Times says Trump will be pressed to offer limits on arms sales to Taiwan. Okay, Dan, in your judgment, who does hold the cards?
I think we do, and I think part of the reason is because of our stepped-up efforts in our own hemisphere. The president mentioned that he wanted to turn Venezuela into the 51st state. I think it was sort of an offhand, flippant remark to our colleague John Roberts over at Fox News. But at the same time, I think the president was reminding the Chinese that their former ally, Venezuela, is no longer a partner. And remember that China was importing lots of oil from Venezuela. And they had given Venezuela military equipment, operated two ground-based satellite stations. That's not going to be happening anymore after we rendered Maduro to the United States. So I think that was behind the president's remark. I think we're going to see some painstakingly difficult negotiations, and we'll see how they turn out.
One last thing. Can you see the negotiations stretching into June? It's now May the 12th.
Negotiations with Iran, I could definitely see them stretching. It just depends on what sort of military action the Trump administration wants to take. Iran thinks that time is in their favor because they're disrupting the global economy, and we've got midterm elections coming up. They're trying to drive a wedge between the United States and our allies. They're also trying to put domestic pressure on the United States. They probably saw with interest that the Trump administration is looking at eliminating the tax on gasoline, which Iran would view as an indicator that we are indeed concerned about the rise in the price of oil.
Got it. Dan Hoffman, thanks for joining us. See you again soon. Back to the markets, please.